friends, today it's time for another book haul. So somehow I managed to accumulate quite the amount of books in the couple of weeks since my last haul. So I'm just here to show them to you. Not as many Medimops books this time around because there were just quite a lot of like new releases that I just really wanted to have. And then I had some Amazon purchases where I was buying something else, and then in order to get rid of the shipping costs, I bought something new. So that's how this all happened. I do have some Medimops books because how could I have a haul without any Medimops books at all? But I'm just gonna start with those, and then I'm gonna get into all of the new books and all of the new releases. So first off, I have Love and Other Carnivorous Plants. I literally, like 30 seconds ago, looked up how to pronounce this word and I've already forgotten again. I don't know. It's Love and Other Carnivorous Plants by Florence Gonzalez. This is a YA contemporary that came out last year, like about a year ago. I'm pretty sure that the main character is queer, but I feel like the more I kind of like looked at it since I got this a couple of weeks ago, the more I've been like, I'm not even sure anymore. I just start losing track of all of the releases from last year, obviously, because there's so many new books coming out. And so I'm not even 100% sure anymore if this is the book that I'm actually thinking it is. But regardless, something about this initially excited me enough to put it on my most anticipated releases list. So there is a reason. It has this really, really gorgeous pink under the dust jacket. I don't know anything about it, obviously, but usually when I pick up a YA contemporary and I don't remember any specifics about it, it's probably because it's queer. So there you go. Then I have The Love and Lies of Roxana Ali by Sabina Khan. This is a YA contemporary that came out just recently, and I know that the main character, I think she's Bengali, I want to say, and she gets caught with her girlfriend by her parents and they ship her off to India. I'm not 100% sure on all of the specifics, but it is definitely about a queer girl and how she fits in the culture that she grew up in, or that are like her roots. I think this is going to be like a really, really hard-hitting and intense read, and I think talking about these experiences of queer people of color is like really, really important. I think that Sabina Khan herself is not queer, but I think this is inspired by her daughter. I've read something, I'm not sure if it's because her daughter is queer or because Sabina Khan was just kind of inspired by wanting her daughter to just grow up in a world where she could be queer without any issues whatsoever. But definitely, I just think that this is going to be a really hard-hitting, really important read. And then I have She Rises by Kate Worsley. This is a historical fiction. I'm pretty sure it's adult historical fiction, and I don't know where I found out about this book. It must have been on some adult sapphic recommendations list. I cannot for the life of me remember or tell you how I found out about this book, but I just knew that I wanted it. I want to read more adult historical fiction that's sapphic. This obviously has to do with sea adventures and stuff. That obviously intrigues me. I really don't know anything about this, but again, there was a reason why I initially put this on my wish list. So I think this could be another super hard-hitting read. To me, I get the impression that it's going to be one of those quiet books that just like punches you in the gut. So that's fun, but that's just an assumption that I'm making based on nothing of importance really. So who actually knows? I do think the cover is gorgeous. Can you see that her hair is like has like gold streaks in it that are like reflective? Ooh. And finally, in that Medimops order, I got Karela by Ashley Poston. I am so excited. I read Karela when it originally came out. I had an arc of it and I really, really loved it. And the sequel just came out and I really loved it. And I pre-ordered it after I loved the arc of that one. And so the fact that I now finally have the first book physically as well makes me so happy. I'm just so excited. I love this cover. All the little details on this cover, and also the princess and the fangirl. Love that the love interest is on the back. This color in itself, but then also, oh my god. And it also has the end paper designs. Just really love this book. Gave me so many like just happy feelings. So I'm so glad that I can finally put it on my shelf. So these were all of the Medimops books, but I think as a good transition, the next book that I bought new is also another book that I have already read and really, really loved. Way more than Karela. I really like Karela, but this one is another level, and that is Dress Codes for Small Towns by Courtney Stevens. This is one of my favorite books of 2017, and I've been hoping to get a physical copy of this basically since I read it, but it never got available used. And then again, I was buying something else on Amazon and I wanted to like get rid of the shipping costs, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna put another book in my cart, and I was like, now it's time to finally get myself a physical copy of this one. I love this cover so much, but I love the book so much as well. It is a really, really wonderful book that tackles so many topics and feelings, and it is just something that really, really spoke to me. So I really hope to reread this now that I have a physical copy. It's been 2 years. I'm so excited how I feel about this today, but I think I'm still going to love it, and I still think that it's going to have a really, really huge impact on me. If you want a YA contemporary that talks about gender identity, gender presentation, about sexuality and the fluidity of that, and on top of that some religious elements, this is the book for you. This is such an underrated queer book, holy shit. Next I have Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell. This is a graphic novel that came out earlier this year, and I have already read this and absolutely love this. This has really, really stunning art. It is mostly black and white, but then has these pink highlights, and it works so well. I love this. This is such a strong, important graphic novel about emotionally abusive and toxic relationships. It has a really, really strong friend group and just this wonderful group of queer teens that are just so lovely, and I would highly recommend this. I know a couple of people felt like lackluster about the story, but I think that this is such an important read, and I just want more people to read this and to buy this and to put the message out there that we need more sapphic graphic novels. Then I have The November Girl by Lydia Kang. Can we just talk about the cover? I have some really, really gorgeous covers here today. I was gonna say I think this might be my favorite though, but I have another very strong contender, but definitely this is one of my favorite covers of all time. This is so gorgeous. This came out, I think, at the end of 2017, and this is another one that I've been waiting to get used, but never happened. So I was like, okay, just gonna buy it new then, I guess. And this is definitely something where I completely forgot what it was about, but I have read the synopsis like 5 times now, because every time I saw it on my wish list, I was like, oh, I just have this on my wish list because the cover is pretty, right? And then I always would read the synopsis and would be like, no, this actually sounds like something that I would really enjoy, that I'm really intrigued by. But at the same time, it's still not something that I remember enough to tell you. So same old, I guess. But regardless, I am trusting myself, who has read the synopsis 5 times and never deleted it off her wish list, that this is going to be a really interesting read, and I do hope I love it because I want to keep this book on my shelf for forever. Then I have Always Never Yours by Emily Weberly and Austin Siegmund Broker. This is a YA contemporary that came out last year, and I've been wanting to read and just wanting to catch up with those releases. This has something to do with Romeo and Juliet. Is she gonna be Juliet? Yes, she's cast as Juliet, and I'm not sure if it's just Shakespeare in the story or if it's also like a retelling of something Shakespeare related or what, but I just know that I'm always really interested in contemporaries that have anything to do with Shakespeare or with theatre in general, and I have heard some really good things about this. This is another cover that's really gorgeous. I love the colours so much, and actually as you're watching this, I might be reading this or have just read this because I'm reading this for the Buzzwordathon. Then I have The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This I've been waiting for this pre-order for forever, and then at some point it got like cancelled, or I accidentally cancelled it, I don't know, and I was still waiting on it, not realizing that there was no longer an order even going through anywhere. And so I finally just ordered it again. Then again, it took a couple of weeks, but now I finally have it in my hands. This is, if you don't know for some reason, this is a spin-off series revolving around Alec and Magnus. I'm guessing it's gonna be a trilogy, but I'm not even sure, if I'm honest. I've heard so many good things about this. I was excited about it anyway, but now I've heard so many amazing things. I still need to reread City of Ashes and City of Glass before I get into this one, but once I have done that, I'm just gonna fly through this. Maybe in one sitting, I don't even care. And then I have 3 June 4th releases, and while we're talking about Shadowhunter stuff, I think the first book that I should talk about is The Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Rees Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Wasserman. This is the short story collection revolving around Jen. I just have a lot of feels about this collection. So I already read the first 8 of these stories at the end of last year, I want to say. Yeah, it must have been before Queen of Air and Darkness. And so the last 2 stories were only published in this bind-up. You could not like buy them individually as ebooks. And I have already read them and I'm all up in my feels. It was kind of like one of those things where, no spoilers obviously, but like Queen of Air and Darkness, just feels after finishing that and after its epilogue especially. And then I feel like I was kind of like just living my life, just going places, and all of a sudden this book just comes in and reminds me of Queen of Air and Darkness, and I'm in pain and I'm scared. My battery just died, so I'm not 100% sure where I was, but I'm pretty sure that I was going to talk about how gorgeous this book is. I love this design so much. I love the spine as well, and yeah, just really glad to have this whole book in my collection. And honestly, I think out of all of the short stories collections, this is probably the one that I would reread. I do want to reread the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy when I'm kind of going through my whole Shadowhunter reread whenever I get there. Who knows when that's going to be. But this is just one where I feel like I would totally just like randomly pick this up and just like read a story when I'm in the mood. Especially Every Exquisite Thing. That story still... yeah, that's my feelings. Then I have Shadow and Flame by Mindy Arnett. This is the sequel to Onyx and Ivory and the conclusion to this duology. I read Onyx and Ivory last year, had an arc of it, and really enjoyed it. I didn't like love it, but I was like, there's so much potential in this world and with these characters. So I have huge hopes for this sequel, and I really hope that it's gonna be good, because I feel like I'm building up really high expectations, even though I don't even remember that many things about the first one. But I just knew that like, I was like, yes, this is good and could be even better. So I keep thinking this could be the even better portion of all of that. So who knows? I hope I can still read this in June, definitely as soon as possible. And I hope it will live up to the high expectations that I'm fucking building for it. I'm sorry. You're doing fine. And finally, I have the book that made me question if The November Girl is actually the prettiest cover in this haul, because it is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Again, another June 4th release. And obviously, Ghosts of the Shadow Market is Shadowhunter stuff that I had to pre-order. And then Shadow and Flame is a sequel that I'm really excited to read. This one, I'm just genuinely that excited for. I just had to pre-order it. I don't know what it is about this book. I do know. It's just the combination of the cover, of people with arcs already saying that it's amazing, of it taking place at a library. It all speaks to me and makes me think that it could totally be a 5-star read. So I just really wanted to get myself a copy as soon as possible, and hopefully we'll read this as soon as possible. I'm not really sure if this has like higher priority than Shadow and Flame. I'm not really sure. I think before I read Shadow and Flame, I might have to reread Onyx and Ivory. So probably even before Shadow and Flame, this is going to be the thing that I will read after I get done with my general monthly TBR. I cannot wait, and I really hope that I love this. This is something that I definitely built high expectations for, but also I feel like other people have. So if I don't like it, I do not only have to blame myself, I can also blame all of you. So that's that. It's just another one of those books where I'm like, I want to love it so that I can keep this beautiful cover on my shelf, you know? Anyway, these are all of the books that I bought in the last couple of weeks. I am not going to stack them and show them to you right now because I am scared I'm going to run out of battery again. But yeah, I'm just really, really happy with this haul. It is a beautiful haul and some wonderful books that I have already read, and just very excited for everything that's to come. So yeah, let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday with occasional reviews on Friday, so click subscribe to never miss anything and hit that little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!